This is the launch webinar for the Melio MLOps Machine Learning Challenge. This is one of only, I think, 3, I stand to be corrected, MLOps hackathons that have ever gone out. So we are very happy as Zindi to be partnering with Melio as well as Data 354. I'm going to start this webinar off with Ismael Kone, who's an assistant professor at the Université Virtuelle de Côte. So Ismael, over to you.
Okay, thank you so much. So as you just mentioned, can you hear me first to make sure that
yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so as mentioned, so I'm a assistant professor at the Virtuelle University of Côte d'Ivoire. So can you try to say in French? But your French is not that bad. So at the university, I teach mainly deep learning applied to computer vision or natural language processing. And just a few words about the university. It is a fully online university in Ivory Coast.
Yeah, Ismael, can you speak a bit loud? I think very hard to hear. Can you speak loud bit?
Okay, sorry. So, hopefully now you can hear me
Yeah,
better.
it's clear now. Yeah, it's clear now. Thank you.
Okay, so I said I'm an assistant professor at the Virtuelle University, which is a fully online university in Ivory Coast or Côte d'Ivoire. And I mainly teach deep learning applied to computer vision and natural language processing. Also, this university mainly teach digital sciences like digital marketing, cybersecurity, and so on. So I'm very excited to be in collaboration with Melio AI and Data 354 for putting together this one of its this unique hackathon where you have a chance to go further than just building a model, but knowing all the MLOps to deploy the model and have the life cycle of the whole model, because this is what happened really in the real world. So, and just a few words, this data set is that we are going to use in this hackathon come from a research project that we are conducting in our university. And it's quite an honor for us to be part of this, competition, this hackathon. And yeah, so I think with that, I will end my presentation.
Thank you so much, Ismael. So this is a French machine translation, French
yeah.
Dula to
French
French.
to, yeah,
so
correctly.
Thank you. So if you have any questions, if you are from a Francophone region or a French speaker, please do ask your questions in French, as we do have some French speakers with us. You are also welcome to ask in French or even Dula on the discussion forum, and we'd be happy. I will happily answer in English, and Ismael will happily answer in the languages from his country. Thank you so much, Ismael. I'd now like to invite Emy Pambo from Data 354. Over to you, Emy.
Thank you. Can you hear me properly? Because I couldn't hear properly, Ismael.
It looks like your internet's a bit slower than earlier, but it's working and I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you. Pambo.
Okay. Okay. So thank you. Thank you, Ismael. Thank you, Emy, for... so my name is Emy Pambo, and I'm going to represent Data 354. Data 354, first of all, I really want to tell you that we are so thrilled to be able to participate and to collaborate with all of you for this challenge. We are based in Côte d'Ivoire, like Ismael Kone. We are a consulting company specialized in data analytics and AI solution across Francophone Africa. So another French speaker person here. Our mission is actually to advance Africa while using data and AI expertise, which is the reason why initiative and challenge like this one are actually resonating with the kind of impact we aim to achieve at Data 354. And one more time, I'm excited to take part of this challenge.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Emy, and thank you for Data 354's assistance with this project. Without Data 354, we would never have met Ismael, and we would never have found this data set for this challenge. I'd now like to hand over to Merelda Wu, the co-founder and CEO of Melio and the Highwind project. Over to you, Merelda. I can see your screen.
Awesome, great. Hi everyone, my name is Merelda, and like Emy said, I'm the co-founder and CEO. This Highwind project has been a passion for us for the past couple of months, and we're really excited to invite you to come join us and test out our platform and really make AI frictionless. So just to give you a little bit of background, I am again, the co-founder and CEO of Melio AI, but one of my core identity is a recovering data scientist. And that's really the reason why we started this MLOps challenge. Is when I was working as a data scientist, it was, I think there's some feedback. Yes, thanks. When I was working as a data scientist, it was very difficult to deploy and operationalize these amazing machine learning models that I felt like I have built. And throughout the years, we've leveraged a lot of cloud technologies and have trained up on lots of MLOps techniques. And we would like to kind of empower and make sure that all the data scientists are equipped with these skills to go forward and become stronger data scientists, machine learning engineers, and really make an impact with your skills and operationalize your AI models. Just a quick overview of Melio. We are a company who are specifically trying to help our clients develop, deploy, and operationalize their machine learning workloads. We do it predominantly on AWS. So we're an AWS advanced partner for artificial intelligence and machine learning. And recently with the whole Gen AI hype, we are also a part of the hype as well as AWS. We work with data science teams in large enterprises, so banks and insurance, but we also work with smaller and medium businesses for more directly with the CTOs. And throughout our experience over the past 5 years, what we've learned is that there's a lot of things that we've built for large enterprises that can really be leveraged by smaller companies. And that's kind of the reason why we started this project, is smaller companies just don't have this project. Oh, sorry, I think there's another feedback. Smaller companies just don't have the capacity and really expertise to hire a data scientist. And sometimes data scientists in large companies also don't really get the fulfillment that they're looking for, because sometimes it can feel like you're just a cog in the wheel. So that's why we decided to build Highwind as a marketplace to deliver AI as a service. So a few people can get confused. Melio is the company and Highwind is the product or the platform that you will be using to complete this competition. So Highwind is a marketplace to deliver AI as a service, even though right now you're only seeing one side of it because we locked it down for the specific competition. But I'll also just want to give you a brief overview of what it is like. So after the competition, if you want to participate, you can. Currently, we're still in private beta with a few customers, predominantly in the technology industries, in fintech and insurtech and edtech and health tech. And the whole purpose of this competition is actually we want to find top data scientists who have the MLOps skills or are interested to learn more about MLOps to become verified sellers on our marketplace in the coming months. So that means if you win the competition, we'll probably host your model for the world. And we would like to contact you to become a seller to be able to sell and monetize your AI solutions on Highwind in the future. if you want to know more about the future update, you can join our Discord server. I think Harry has also posted the link in the chat. So you can just click and join. And if you have any questions about this competition, you're very, very welcome to ask there. We have our data scientists and DevOps engineers on support all the time. And the problem that Highwind is trying to solve is, as a data scientist, there's usually lots of challenges that you have to face every day. And the first one is infrastructure. I don't know about you guys, but I know that has been a really frustrating part of my journey as a data scientist wanting to deploy a model. I really just want to build a model, deploy it, and then see it run in the real world. But there's so many underlying complexities that just gets really overwhelming. And the second challenge is that it's quite difficult to go from using your skills to build a model to actually make money from it. And there are a lot of companies who have been incredibly successful in building AI solutions, but they also have lots of engineers, lots of marketing people, lots of sales people to make it work. But we also want to empower data scientists to become yourself and freelance as yourself and really make your skills shine and stand out as a data scientist in this very competitive AI environment. And the last one that we hear from a lot of data scientists working in enterprises is that it's very difficult to communicate their technical solutions. And a lot of the times I think people say we have to dumb down what we build for the businesses, and trying to connect with a business to tell them this thing is going to be super awesome is difficult for the businesses to understand. And that's really why we built Highwind, is that we want to connect the data scientist with a future prospective client as well as employers to really showcase your skills. And how it works is really just you will develop and deploy AI solutions and deploy it onto the marketplace. That's the purpose of this competition. You can learn how to do it. And then the employers or the clients can get an access to lots of high quality AI solutions that has been built, and they can just buy it and pay a subscription, and that money flows directly to you as the person who created it. So we're really trying to free up the gig economy. And how it works is that as a data scientist, you can build a solution like a bank statement verification use case, or really French doula translation use case like this one. And you can deploy it onto Highwind so that you don't have to manage all of the underlying cloud infrastructure. Somebody else in our team will take care of it for you. And you can then showcase a portfolio of evidence to your employers or your prospective clients. Instead of GitHub repository, it is a different way of showcasing. These are actually deployed models that the employers can use and really show them a different side of you that is not just about building models, but also operationalizing and have extra skills in addition to data science. And from your client's perspective, they can come onto Highwind, find a bunch of solutions, and really test that it meets their needs, and then they can buy the solution directly on the platform, which then we pay the data scientist to build the solution. And in essence, the benefit is that we want to use the platform to accelerate how you work with your clients if you want to become a freelance data scientist, and to earn revenue from your skills, as well as to enhance the business value that you are creating for your prospective clients. So these are some of the frequently asked questions. For a data scientist, there are no cost for you to deploy AI use cases, but to publish them onto the marketplace, you will have to be vetted. That's why we're only selecting the top competition winners to become verified sellers on the marketplace. And the price of the use cases are defined by you. If you think it's $5 or $500, you think someone will buy it, you are very welcome to set that price. And only when the use cases are sold, then we will take a 25% commission fee for hosting the solution on the platform. And that is it of everything that we wanted to share. And yeah, looking forward to your questions.
Merelda, thank you so much for that presentation. I think you're such an inspiration to many of us. I think we all started off as data scientists, and we have the dream to either become a researcher like Ismael or to own our own startup one day. So thank you for being a trailblazer for us. I'm going to open up the floor for questions. If anyone has a question, please raise your hand. When I call on your name, you can unmute. Also, please, if you're going to forget your questions, put them in the chat. We have our first question from Patende. Apologies. Why are submissions limited to 10? Can they be increased?
So submissions are limited to 10, so just so that it actually costs quite a bit from the underlying infrastructure to deploy these submissions, because we have to run and we have to train and build your models and deploy them. But we have discussed with our DevOps engineers and we have streamlined it quite a bit. So I think it is possible to open the submissions to be higher. And I think maybe you can start trying to submit, and once we see that you're like nearing the limit, you can reach out to us on Discord or on the leaderboard or on the Zindi forum, and we will see how it goes towards the end.
Amazing, thank you, Merelda. I do want to say that the data set is quite large. There is a train and a validation set available, a test set available for you on the GitHub repo. So you can build quite a robust model locally. Once you think that you have a good enough or even a bad model, and you just want to see how the Melio submissions work, please do use one of your 10 submissions, and I recommend trying it out earlier rather than later. Don't wait until the last week to make your submission. So make a submission, make sure that you understand the Zindi and Melio platform, and then you're off to the races. Any other questions?
Yeah, can I go ahead?
Yes.
Merelda, sorry, I'm spelling correctly, right? Just correct me if I'm wrong. Merelda. Just
Yes.
couple of questions in terms of whatever you have been presented, where you people providing your services. So, for example, like what is the underlying tools you people using in terms of model build, model deployment, model monitoring? What are the tools you people using in terms of these jobs?
We are running all of our workload on AWS, and we have used a bunch of AWS managed services as well as the open source tools. If you watch the resource videos, predominantly the tools that's limited to this competition are Docker as well as Kserve, and Kserve is a Kubeflow project that has been started by, I think, Google and some of the other big tech companies.
Google product. I mean, it's part of Kubeflow. So Kubeflow has been developed in the Go language. Yeah. And what about in terms of experiment? What kind of tool you people using? Is it MLflow or like it's part of Kubeflow where people giving the metrics as well as the experiment tracking?
So we are using the entire stack is based on Kubeflow so that we can limit our technology choices just in integration difficulties in the platform. So yeah, Kubeflow.
Okay. And what about the data drift? You people using any kind of tool? Yeah, good.
For this competition, we're not looking at any of the actual MLOps integration pre the data is completed, but for pre data is coming in. But also, I think for the after the submission, we are using Grafana, Prometheus, and a lot of open source toolings to collect the metrics and the logs.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you so much. And we have the submission till August, right? Just correct me if I'm wrong. Till August, we can submit the ideathon, right? Yeah, I mean, not idea. I mean the submission.
I think it's July, right, Amy?
July?
So the competition closes on the 4th of August. So that's when you need to make your last submission.
Okay.
But to join the competition, you have until the 21st of July. So if you have any friends that would like to join, please can they join before the 21st of July? We've put
Okay.
that buffer between registration and end of challenge just to make sure that everyone has enough time to build a model and to make a submission to Melio. We don't think that it's feasible to whip up a solution in the last day. So that's why we
Okay.
implemented this registration.
Sure.
I just
And
want to
the registration is done for my end, right? I'm also planning to a submission in terms of machine translation. Just I want to double check with you. Yeah, go ahead.
The registration flow is quite simple. You will have to be on the Zindi platform, and once you click you want to join the competition, then you should get an email to reset your password on Highwind, and once you get that email, you kind of know that you're in. But to get a bit more information on registration, I'll send a link here. It is all in the docs.
Yeah, actually, I was already registered as per I know. Just I'm double checking because of I got this email, right? That's why like I'm joined this call. Just correct me if I'm wrong.
If you
Is
have
it
already registered and got the email, then you are registered as part of the platform. Yeah.
okay? Okay, makes sense. Thank you so much.
I want to go back to Katende. Why are submissions limited to 10? Harry from the Melio team has said that you can go onto the Highwind platform and you can test as many models as you want before making a submission. So you don't have to go through the Zindi platform, but if you want a leaderboard score, you do. Adam, I see your hand is raised. Adam is also from the Melio team, so over to you, Adam.
I am not from the Melio team. Just saying.
Sorry.
I'm just a participant, so don't ask me any questions, please. But yeah, just just a question from my side. So if you want to see a score on Zindi, you need to deploy the Docker repo on Highwind as well, and then also submit the same zip folder onto Zindi, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
But if you want to test out what your estimated score would be without submitting, we do have a video shared in the docs inside resources. So I will also post the specific page. But I think the easiest way is actually to, when you're trying to deploy a model, follow this third video. And if you want to test the what your grade would look like locally, then you can use this fourth video and submitting to Zindi.
Okay, awesome.
I'll
Thanks.
post the link here.
Thanks, Adam. Another question from Katende. Are there any limitations on the computational resources we can use?
For training, I think that it follows the normal Zindi rules that as long you can actually use whatever you have at your disposal for training. But for deployment, because the whole purpose of this MLOps competition is actually to test your ability to decide on trade-offs between scalability, performance, accuracy, etc. So right now we've limited to, I think, quite a small instance, but that's just based on our testing and it actually works, but we haven't actually trained a massive model to deploy. If you think you need more, please reach out to us and then we will open up that resources for you to use.
We have a question from Theo. Is there a possibility for an interview for the top candidates at Melio?
Oh, yes, definitely. I mean, this is also part of the reason why there's competitions, right? Is to find top talent, and you can be a seller, you can be hopefully join our company in the future.
Theo, yes. And we can't wait to see your solutions on the Highwind platform. Yeah, so can we have your slides, Merelda? Yeah, I'll chat to Merelda after that and we can maybe add them to the competition page.
Yes, of course.
I see we have a hand raised from Trent. Trent, do you want to go?
Yeah, sure. Anyway, hey Emy, hey Merelda, how's it going? Good to see you both. Actually, I've met you guys before, actually, like separate context, but yeah, you're both doing well. I had a question actually on the product itself. So I'm kind of familiar with Hugging Face. Is Highwind like a similar idea to Hugging Face, but obviously like kind of like more of like a premium version of that? Is that the kind of like underlying idea, or are there like discrepancies that you point out? Or
I think the concept of Highwind is actually a layer on top of Hugging Face. We would love to host lots of Hugging. Actually, we do host lots of Hugging Face models, but sometimes businesses don't really understand models, but they understand solutions. So what we encourage data scientists to put on Highwind is actually something that makes makes a business case. So that's why we have examples like ID verifications or machine translation, but it's actually in English, French Jula, rather than maybe stillbirth 2 or something like that, that business won't understand.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. And then from like a deployment perspective, like if you are, let's say like someone buys a model off of Highwind, right? The infrastructure itself, would that be like on Highwind as well? Like if there's a bunch of VMs running or something like that. Okay. And then part of it, would it be like would you need to like obfuscate data in some way? Like let's say you've got a client in the banking sector and they're like, they really don't want their data going somewhere that they can't see or maintain, or their DevOps team can't run.
Yeah, so in that instance, there is actually a private deployment that we do for our enterprise customers that is deployed into their VPC. I think we might have lost Trent, but I'm going to answer it anyways. Now we deploy inside the bank's infrastructure or their cloud environment. And in terms of the data, so there's actually two ways to buy Highwind models. One way that is currently, both are currently supported, is you deploy the model and host it, and we serve it as an API, so it's being subscribed. So then the customers actually don't really know the underlying model architecture. But the alternative way, if you are a data scientist who doesn't mind your IP gets bought from the customers, then they can also download your entire repo and then host the entire thing within their own infrastructure.
Awesome. Sorry, I had a bit of a technical glitch there, but I got most of that. Awesome. Thanks so much.
Cool. And maybe just a question from our side. We have seen people attempting deployments, but have only seen a few successful submissions so far. Are there any challenges that you're experiencing with the platform itself, or is the documentation unclear? Yes, Adam?
Yes, so just from my side, someone who doesn't or hasn't worked with containers ever really. So this has been quite a journey for me. It's been taken a while to get through all the documentation, but I think I have gotten there, like starting my own container locally and then getting the input. So yeah, my thing is working now locally. I'm at the stage, just a technical question. I'm at the stage where you need to push your Docker image to the AWS. And at that first one that you push it to the server, I'm not really sure what the terminology is. I keep getting an error there. And I see you do say underneath, you may have to make sure you're using the latest version of AWS CLI as well as Docker. And double check that I am doing that. should I have like an AWS account, or should I prepare anything before I attempt this, or is this supposed to work just as it is?
It should work just as it is. You don't have to have an AWS account. If it doesn't work, maybe what you can do is you can either post your error message. I think maybe a lot of people are having the same issues. So if you can share like what your challenges are and post your error messages either on the discussion board or on Discord, then we can resolve that for you.
Okay, cool. Thanks. Yeah, I'll post it there. Yeah, so that it can be answered there. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there anyone who wants to chime in on why, or if they have any challenges with the platform, or any other issues with the documentation?
Katenda, I see that you're personally scared about the number of submissions. It's the number of successful submissions. So you can make 100 failed submissions and that's okay. We only count your number of successful. So please do make submissions until you start getting it right. Once you've nailed it, then you can keep some submissions for your final one at the end. And then, as Merelda mentioned, if you just need to do one more experiment, you can reach out and they'll be able to help.
Yeah. We understand that it is quite a challenging or different type of competition. So we're not really going to hold you accountable very hard on the number of submissions. It's really just for us to prevent kind of leaderboard spamming and to kind of keep our costs okay. But seeing as there aren't that many submissions so far, you are welcome to try as a brave early user. Isaac, I think I saw you had a hand up and then you put it down. Do you have anything?
Yeah. So I wanted to make a point to the effect that we were trying to also, or maybe in my idea was I was trying to see if there will be any source to get from this webinar before I start actively maybe exhausting some. So I think you can also say it's that at the root of it is the concern about the number of submissions. So I want to make sure I get any leading ideas or stuff maybe from this webinar, because I was suspecting, and then kickstart with stuff. So I think that's the basic idea. Thank you.
Awesome. Maybe Amy then will post on the discussion board that we're going to open a little bit more submissions so people are more encouraging and brave to try it out. And don't penalize our early brave users.
Agreed. Ruan's just posted that you can try experiment locally before submitting to Zindi. And we can also see, or not Zindi, but Melio can see what you're doing and they can help you. And I want to reiterate, if you are getting consistent error messages that you can't work out yourself, it means that someone else is getting them as well. Just as we were taught, there's no such thing as a silly question. There's no such thing as a silly error message. I mean, there are many. But please can you post those on the discussion board, on the Discord, and then we can problem solve together and maybe save someone else from hitting their head against the same wall you were.
Yeah, just on that, because our entire team are on MacBooks, so we haven't extensively tested the documentation with a Windows computer. If you can help us, then we'll also improve the docs a lot better for Windows.
Before I'm going to ask one more question just to let everyone else rack their brains to try and see if they've got any more questions. If you've got a question, put your hand up, put it in the chat. Could you please explain, I know it's in the documentation, but what happens? We sign up to Zindi and then we need to sign up to the Highwind platform. And then what should we expect before we can get started?
So once you sign up to Zindi, the backend is actually automatically linked. So you will already get an email to say, hey, welcome to the platform, and this is how you can reset your password. Once you click the reset password link and reset your password, then you can log on to the Highwind platform. And as Harry said, you can experiment, you can click around the platform as much as you want. You'll probably see some errors just because there's still bugs in there. If you see any errors, please just post it on the Discord server so we'll fix them, and we have a backlog of errors that we'll fix. But yeah, once you're ready, then and you've tested locally, then you can submit deploy on Highwind. And once you've deployed on Highwind, tested that your inference endpoint works, then you can make a submission on Zindi.
Great, thanks, Merelda. Oh, we got a message from Mohammed. Does the self-assessment app take into account the limitations of 1 CPU and 2 gigabytes RAM, or does it use your machine's resources? Harry, this might be a question for you. Or Ruan?
Yeah, actually, so you can, when you run your inference locally, it will use your machine's resources. But there's a way that you can, if you run it with a Docker Compose, for example, you can set up that limit, and it should stick to that to sort of simulate that. So if you browse our examples, I'll send a link just now as well. There's some of the Docker Compose files we have in our examples include that, so you can try follow that. That should help you. I'll send a link just now.
Great, thanks, Ron. Okay. Oh, I think that was just Ron dropping a message. Yes, thanks for the example, Ron. I'm going to wrap our webinar up now. Thank you so much to everyone who joined. Deploying your models is such an important part about data science. As Merelda explained, she felt stuck that she built these awesome, amazing models, but they couldn't go further. Zindi, Melio, and Data 354, as well as Ismael and his university, have given us the opportunity to go further. So let's use it. Let's go further. There's no losing on Zindi. There's only learning. Please, let's learn together. Post your bugs, post your error messages, ask those silly questions. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.